5, 4, 3.
That's tomorrow, and that is it for us today. And we will leave you with a... I can't do it. Okay. We'll do it live.
Okay. No.
We'll do it live. Fuck it. Do it live. I'll write it, and we'll do it live. Right. Fucking thing sucks.
In 5, 4, 3.
That's...
For the show.
I love fucking Bill O'Reilly, and that'll always be immortalized. As much as I appreciate him being a consummate professional, there's some days where shit just does not go right. God bless that man.
Yep.
Janet, how are you doing? How are you feeling? You ready for this show we're doing today?
Mm-hmm. I'm glad
Okay.
I got to finally watch the movie all the way through because I've only seen bits and pieces of it for years. But now getting to see the whole thing was really good.
It's a good movie. I don't know if I'll ever watch it again. It's in that same category. What was the movie with Keanu Reeves, Uma Thurman, John Malkovich? It's set in
Dracula.
No, not Dracula. Keanu Reeves, Uma Thurman, I can see, but no, John Malkovich and
Dangerous Liaisons.
yeah, Dangerous Liaisons. I'll probably never watch that movie again. Good movie.
Yeah, it's a
really
thriller.
good movie.
Type
Amazing
thing.
film. Absolutely not interested in watching it again. And I kind of feel the same way about what we watched today, because even though it's a great movie, fun movie, good movie, there are other movies out there that I want to see that I would much rather prioritize than this. This was a fun movie to watch if you're just coming out of a relationship where shit went wrong, 30 Ways to Sunday, and you don't really have a whole lot of good things to say about your partner, and she or he fouled up every single thing they touched, and at the very end, you have this floating dumpster going down the flooded streets of your hometown as it's set alight, combusting with kerosene. It will be a long-lasting fire for everyone to see and not to fuck with. This movie, I kind of felt part of it, but I don't want to watch it again. It wasn't bad. Far worse movies are out there, but Play Misty for Me kind of goes in a direction that, like, Fatal Attraction did the same thing. I've watched that movie once, and I've never felt any inclination to watch Glenn Close and Michael Douglas ever again.
So you feel the same way about Mr. Brooks?
Mr. Brooks is interesting. That's actually a kind of enjoyable movie. I'm not saying that's not watchable more than once. That movie there, Kevin Costner can play a sociopath that's entertaining to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Jessica Walter, let me just say that I loved her for the last 16 or 18 years. Since I discovered Archer, she plays Archer's mom. And she goes to work basically drinking wine, and she comes home drinking more wine. Her son, bumbling CIA operative or three-letter agency operative, very nice, well-meaning boy, but should not be in a secret job. Should not be in a top-secret job. Good show, amazing show, very funny, very hilarious. Everyone should watch Archer, at least season 1. Season 1, season 3.
I've never watched it. So
I don't know why you haven't.
I don't know. I watched Futurama and other stuff like that. I probably would like it. Honestly, if I think about it.
It's got a bit more edge to its humor than Futurama does. Futurama goes for the normie humor far too hard. And Archer is it's made for people for millennials. It really is. There's a lot of funny humor in it. Don't misunderstand me. But it feels like there's a decided targeting of people that when they were coming of age, the Iran war wasn't even thought of. We were in Iraq and Afghanistan, and the kind of disdain for America was starting to take place within the kids, because they were watching their older brothers go off to war, and then like, here's a casket, your brother's in it. What? And that's it feels like that's the target audience. Those that were disaffected, those that really enjoyed American Idiot by Green Day. I'm not saying anything negative about Archer, but it just kind of felt when it first came out at the time, that was the intended audience. Since it came out, I have found a lot to love about Archer, but it took me after the show was 7 years old for me to start watching it, and it's well worth my time.
What made you first start watching it in the first place?
Say again?
Why did you first start to watch it in the first place?
Because it makes fun of the three-letter agencies involved in espionage and surveillance.
Oh.
And I've got some friends of
Is
mine.
it the one with the alien that lives with them?
That's American Dad.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I had it mixed up with another movie or another show, and I was like, what? It doesn't make sense. But now it does.
No, Archer makes fun of the 007 fanatics out there, because he's supposed to be a suave spy who loved me sort of thing. And he's always trying to get into Lana, and Lana's kind of not wanting that to happen.
Okay.
Lana is his mom's hiree, and they eventually do have a kid, and they do eventually have a family together. But it's a very funny show. It's got its own shtick, and Jessica Walter plays the mother on that show.
Oh, so okay.
Yeah. So when I say that there's a reason why we're talking about Archer, it's because Jessica Walter's on it. Not that her performance here was bad. Her performance here was spot on. Watching this movie again, because I have seen this movie before years ago, it just wasn't complete watch. It wasn't like I'm giving it all my all like I did today. But I have to say that watching this film made me remember Jason's mother from the first Friday the 13th. Jessica Walter passed up some money. She should have been on that, because she plays a sociopathic bitch so well.
Yeah, I was really impressed. Almost I would say she was the best actor in the movie for character wise. She stole the movie basically.
I'm gonna agree with you on that, and I would say during the season of Clint Eastwood films we've watched together, I would say I've probably liked a lot of the movies that Clint's been in, but I've not liked Clint's performance, if that makes sense. I think he's a fine actor. I do. Yeah,
you said that. I've already said that twice in other movies. So,
this
and I wasn't impressed.
With this film here, I felt kind of let down, because they wanted to pick Steve McQueen for this film. Now, Clint would have directed it no matter what. But McQueen said he didn't want to be involved with it because Jessica Walter's character was the strongest character in the entire show.
Yeah, he wasn't equal.
Yeah.
Their arcs were separate.
Completely
it was lower. Yeah.
And it's not a bad way to summarize it. I think Steve McQueen knew how the movie was going to be received before it even went to a gold script. And I say gold script, what I'm inferring is before they had everything wrapped up, he's telling you that, like, this movie is not going to be the hit you want it to be. Now, it is a cult hit. A lot of people think about
it. But it did make a profit. It made a profit at the theaters.
Made a good profit.
Yeah, because in today's terms, it was over $70 million. And that wasn't even from DVD sales or anything else. That was just from
Theaters.
the box
Ticket booth.
office. Yeah. So
Can you hear me okay, or is it all echoey?
no, I can hear you.
Okay. I really find this movie to be a interesting movie to watch, but at the same time, I find it kind of rough.
Hungar to sit you something. You need to go check it out.
This, okay, for a man that's been with me for 24 months, and you can subscribe as a member for $1. I don't do enough member only streams. I'm sorry, but I try to be regular at least with the streams I'm supposed to be part of, and I've been doing good with that. And we'll get more member streams here probably after all the divorce bullshit passes by. Hungar for $5 says, just for fun, and I have a new shirt out now. Well, let me tell you guys, if you don't know who Hungar is, he's a guy that he makes shirts and he does other stuff. He does a lot of really cool stuff, but he makes shirts like what I've got on today. I mean, who doesn't want to have a shirt with a very dangerous man putting a dinosaur on a rotisserie, and he's feeding his family,
His hot babes.
his hot babes. Who doesn't want that? I want that as a lifestyle, not as a t-shirt. I want a lifestyle like that.
I'd like to try some dinosaur.
I don't know if I can.
Medium rare.
I don't know if I can handle 3 Janets. I could handle 1. I've had Janet and 2 of her sisters in the same room with me before. That was deadly. That also fixes your T cell count, by the way. But I can handle 1 Janet.
You had fun. I know you did. I could tell.
I had a blast. God, that was so much fun. Hungar, thank you so much for the $5. Let me find his channel real quick. We're going to go to Hungar's channel and see what he's talking about. I love Hungar's shirts. My most recent shirts have been,
I've shared his link with a few people that don't even go to YouTube normally, just because of the shirts. They're so funny.
Yeah, his shirts are amazing. So
They are.
here's Hungar's
Really good.
YouTube channel, and I'll pop this in the chat because you all need to subscribe to this guy. Hungar's got a brother named James as well. James is he's a stand-up dude, very good guy. On Hungar's channel, there's a link to the Tea Public Store. I'm going to share the tab. And, oh God, Janet. First off, we have the Hungar t-shirt. We have Lord Hungar. He's humongous. My demons would titty fuck yours.
I love that one. The first one is really, really cute. I like that one a lot.
Approval.
I guess I'm gonna have to get one of those and dress up as my alien costume and do some real sexy stuff and just come walking down the hallway with just the shirt on or something for him and send it to him. I think that'd be fun. Come to my planet, enjoy Hungar along with me, or something stupid like that. Wouldn't that be fun?
That'd be great.
Let me know, Hungar, if you want me to make you a special little short for your channel. I would love to do that for you. Or I can do it as a blonde if you'd rather have that. But I would love dressing up in my alien outfit.
Yeah, I see a shirt getting purchased here today.
Yeah, it'd be nice. But I really do like the seal of approval one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If I'm wearing that, walking down the hallway, with my hair all messy or whatever type of thing, I think it'd be fun.
You wouldn't want to have the other shirt, Hungar seal approval, and Lord Humongous.
Yeah, that one's funny too. But I already, the first thing that popped into my mind was walking down the hallway, with my hair a mess or whatever, wearing that shirt down the hallway with just no pants, just. I think it'd be funny. I mean, you're not going to see, anything. It's just like I get out of bed or something. I think it'd be fun. Fun little short.
Yeah, I'll have to order this after the show, but I got most of it set up here. Ugh.
Yeah, you already
Unguarded.
shared it. You shared his link in there, so that's good.
Yes. Now here's his link.
Oh, a
for his-
risky business slide into the frame. That's a good idea too. Man, I'll have to. I don't know if I can do that. My kitchen is slate. It's kind of bumpy. I'd have to do it in my bedroom. That's hard.
Can't get all five sisters on at one time. Janet would break the internet.
I wish
Yeah.
I could, but I got two sisters that have they're not interested at all in ever doing anything like this ever. So I got two of them on at once. That was almost a miracle.
So I've seen this movie before, just not all at once. I've seen it like 30 minutes here, 45 minutes there.
Yeah, that's kind of like what I saw.
Syndication used to be one of those situations where like they would show a movie endlessly repeated for 10 days.
Mhm.
On the channels that we had where I was living. You would watch it over the course of like 10 days. You might catch it in the first 3. And that was kind of how we managed to watch this movie. And I thought it was okay, but I never watched all of it all at once. And I feel very sorry for Donna Mills' character. I really do. That of the entire film, hers was the character I felt sorry the most for. Granted, Jessica Walters
too.
is the movie. Jessica Walters is the entire film.
Yeah. She did a really good job at playing a psychopath, basically.
If you can't buy her, you have to skip this movie. But she does such a good job of playing a psychotic bitch that you won't mind. You won't mind that she makes you regret posting those photos on MySpace.
Well, the thing is, I think this is I wish every teenage boy had to watch this movie. And girl. I think it's good for girls too. The reason is because you don't want to be, what's her name? The one Toby. You don't want to be Toby.
Yeah, I don't want to be Toby.
You don't want to be a Toby, and you don't want to be Evelyn. Either
No.
one. You don't want to be any of these characters because he is a famous up and coming DJ, and he's on the Late Show, and he talks about poetry and plays sultry, sexy jazz and other songs to get you in the mood, for a few drinks and maybe a romp in the bed, that type of stuff. And
Mm-hmm.
he's a ladies' man, so he gets lots of women, and he's got women all the time. It's like a revolving door on his house, right? And this girl Toby was a girl that had a relationship with him, and he said he wanted a permanent relationship or whatever, but he's got a new girl all the time on the side. So you don't feel very special when your man is jumping everything in town and he tells you he loves you. Well, it doesn't mean shit. So she finally packed her stuff and left.
Was this movie a autobiography for Clint? Early Clint?
It would seem like it. He seemed very relaxed as this character. You know what I mean?
I gotta say, he seems
stepped
like
right
he was
in
in his own skin
Mhm.
the
He
entire
stepped
time
right
I'm
into
watching
it.
the movie. He's completely careful and just
Mhm.
playing himself. It felt like.
Yeah, I thought he seemed very natural. It was a very natural. That's why I think a lot of people didn't like him, because he was kind of a dick. You know what I mean? He was like a womanizing pig. But the thing is, he does have a character arc where you think he's learned his lesson, because he's in the process. We don't know it at the beginning because he immediately sleeps with Evelyn's character. He picks her up at a bar. He doesn't know anything about her, but he takes her back to his place or her place, and they have a roll in the hay. You know what I mean? So he wasn't thinking too hard about getting back with Toby. If he's just whipping his dick out for every girl, So apparently he wasn't too serious about it. But He said, I got a problem. I can't help myself. Well, you can. If you can not pick up a cigarette or not pick up a alcoholic beverage or not eat that whole pizza that's laying in there, then yeah, you can. You have self-control of some sort.
Okay, Janet, you're attacking me. I'm feeling
I'm not
attacked right now.
either. What I'm saying
I-
is, if you could say no to that girl over there, you should be able to say no to that girl.
You fucking tell me, like, I can't eat this whole pizza. I can't have that cigarette. I can't stick my dick in a
Well,
lady
did
vagina.
you quit smoking? Didn't you?
We won't go there. I haven't had a cigarette
Okay.
this week.
Well, you're
okay?
trying still. You
Yeah, I haven't
given
had
up.
a cigarette
Okay.
this weekend.
Okay, well, that's a step in the right direction. So you can control yourself. That's what I'm trying to say. You
Okay.
can do it, but you have to work at it. But he didn't seem like he wanted to work at it. So when he goes to see her, Toby, he's like, he's still an ass to her. He doesn't even, say, I'm so sorry. He doesn't try to apologize. He doesn't even seem like he means it. He just says, where are you? What are you doing? He's like really gruff and rude to her. I just thought
He just wants the drawers. That's it.
yeah, that's it. That's all he wants. He just wants someone permanent to be at home when he comes home and he's ready to lay some pipe. That's it. And,
what the fuck's wrong with that? Fuck.
No, there's nothing wrong with it if all the other goes with it. You see what I mean? But he wants her there, but he's going to still sleep around with everyone in town. And who knows what he's bringing home? I don't want that. I mean, listen, if you have a woman and you're married or you're in a deep relationship, supposedly, and she's sleeping with everyone in town, and then she finds out she's pregnant, what are you gonna do? Do a DNA test on every baby you have? You see, that's ridiculous.
I mean, he only has 7 kids. He only has 7 kids in reality, Janet. How dare you?
But you know what I'm saying? You gotta have trust for a relationship. So I could see where Toby was at, because she was like, I don't want to have to go through that anymore. I don't want to know who you're with every night. If you're not going to be with me, I don't want you. And she was standing up for herself, and I was proud of her for that. But it was still sad, because you could tell when she looked at him, she's all doughy-eyed and everything. She's in love with him because he's very charismatic, and things, but he's a dick. So it was kind of hard to really like his character like you do in some of the other movies, his spaghetti westerns. But that's who he's supposed to be. That was his character, and he did a good job doing it and directing it. Absolutely, one thing I absolutely loved about some of his direction was where he zooms in on their eyeballs, their wide eyes. I just thought that was great. I just love that part of it.
Well,
it was
that felt very much Italian cinema.
Yeah.
To me.
It brought me into his other movies that he's been in. So I really like that little taste of, a spaghetti western in there, that the music and stuff. I just loved it. But then he hooked up with that woman, which he thought was great, romp in the hay, whatever. She might have been good in bed. I don't know. Must not have been very good, because he's not sticking to any of them. He must think he's better than any of them, because I can just get another one. See what I mean? It's like, that's how you feel. If you're a girl and he's telling you everything he needs to tell you, you're beautiful. I'm madly in love with you. I want to spend forever with you. And then he sleeps with you and get the fuck out. And that's how he's treating her, basically. So who wants to be with a man like that? Not me. And not most women that I know. 90-something% of women would say, fuck it. I'm not going to go back with that guy. So I kept saying, don't go back with him. Don't go back with him, to myself, while we're watching the movie. He's just going to do it again. Then he gets Evelyn. And every time he turns around, she's standing there waiting for him. And she starts stalking him. So that's what made it. It was kind of like, in a way, at the beginning, I was real happy that she was being a bitch to him, because he needed it. He needed a lesson. But I didn't want him, her to kill people and, be a nut job. So, and then him bringing her that tray of soup and stuff after she tried to slit her wrists. She didn't do a very good job at it. She, because just like the doctor said that he called in, that they were very superficial, which means she knew not to go very deep, because she would die, because you're gonna bleed. And I don't know, it was just really weird to see him walking in there with the tray, like he was trying to make him. And then he sees him sitting there with her sitting on him or leaning against him with her head on his chest, and his eyes are just like, oh God, what am I doing? It was like he wanted to take the pillow and to suffocate her. but he didn't. So he's not a sociopath, at least not the way he reacted to her.
Like that so many times in this last year.
So the thing is, he didn't do anything, illegal. He put up with it, thinking, what am I going to do? How am I going to get out of this situation? I want Toby. It's what he's thinking. But Toby's not thinking he wants her because of the stupid things he keeps doing. He's got a woman sleeping in his bed and he's going to try to sleep with her. You see what I mean? It's pathetic and sad. But the story is a guy that's a womanizing pig that is stalked by a woman that wants to keep him for herself because she's nuts. And he's at the point of his life where he's realizing he doesn't want to keep having to find a different lay every night. He wants one woman and he wants one he cares about. And Toby seems to be the closest to what he's looking for. So he's trying to make amends in his way, his macho, me way. That's the only thing I can say about his character. Because to me, Evelyn's character stole the movie. She was the most thrilling, exciting nut, that she just was everywhere. She's in front of the restaurant using a payphone, calling the restaurant, and she could see his car out front. And they're telling the bar guys, telling her he's already left, and she knows he didn't. And then when he goes out there, she's sitting in his car. It's like, that's kind of creepy. I mean, that's really scary, especially today with weird people following you home or calling you nonstop, or texting you. I don't know. Just, it was really creepy. So I'm always talking against that stuff anyway.
I don't know. I see this movie and I understand a lot of it.
Somebody was telling me to take out the trash, so I muted my mic.
I get it. It's fine.
Oh, it's terrible.
I just I feel very sorry for both ladies, really, because I mean, this guy's he's got a problem, and that problem is sex addiction, and the movie completely blows by that. It completely says, like, you're not done being a player. You're enjoying the shit out of it. You're enjoying it a lot, and that's cool. Don't get me wrong. I love getting a nut too. Everyone does. However,
he's saying one thing, but he's doing another. And the same saying that everyone says, actions speak louder than words. Because you can tell your wife or your girlfriend, I love you, honey, while he's beating her. I love you so much, but cook my dinner better next time. Exactly. What does that tell you? You're getting two different signals and they're both wrong. So, that's what he was doing. Basically, he was telling the woman, I want you, because here he is in bed with her. He's kissing her and groping her and doing all these things, being sexual. And she's taking that as, we're madly in love. He wants me, but he doesn't. He wants her until it's no longer, a stiff one or whatever. And he goes to sleep, and the next morning he hopes she's gone. So it's just terrible. But that's the lifestyle a lot of people still lead. You could get on your app and go swipe left or right, or just call an Uber driver to take you over to some total stranger's house you've never even met. You don't even know if he really looks like what he says he looks like in the app. You know what I mean? So it's just, I just don't know how people can do that stuff. It's just scary to me. I wouldn't do it. But, if they want to, go for it. Just good luck. It's scary. The whole thing was scary to me. Very believable, though.
Very accurate. Like, all I could think of throughout the whole time we're watching this movie is like, this is either like something I experienced in my 20s, especially my 30s. In my 30s, I was a whore, and there was a girl that she parked herself outside Deer Creek, Illinois, waiting for me to come home during the day, and that turned into a situation with the police and like having to, hey, she's being here too much. And the cops were like, do you want to do an RO? I said, because I know once you start putting documentation down like that, like all of a sudden things get sticky. And I didn't do it at first. And I think what happened was she got upset. She stopped pursuing, which maybe that was good. She got she made her point. She liked me. But then one of my buddies from the gaming room in Washington, he and her start dating, and that got messy as shit for him because I thought she was kind of crazy, and I stuck my dick in it once. My bad. I'm really sorry. I'm so sorry, Father. Here's my confession. But he fell in love with her, and he took her home, and he tried making that whore into a housewife, and she wanted to go that route, but she didn't know exactly how, because once she, in her own terms, once she tooted and booted, she'd go crazy for like 2 or 3 months trying to get it all over again. But then one day she'd wake up and she'd be like, oh, I'm better now. And then like she just disappears.
Yeah.
But he got her pregnant and she had like an abortion and it completely fucked him up. And then worse yet, she came back about a month and a half later. I'm so sorry, take me back, etc. And I told him, like, don't you let her near you. Don't you let her near your dick. And he's like, And eventually what happened was they made another kid and she gave it up to adoption. She did carry it full term. And the guy wanted a family. Like that was like the thing he was starting.
How could she get the kid adopted out when he's a dad?
You think Illinois gives a shit about the father?
I don't know. I thought they would.
No, he didn't have the money to pursue this. Okay, he was a Washington, Illinois gamer. Not a lot of money there. Not a lot of money at all. So, anyway, she's continuing to be a menace to people around her, but she dumped him because she realized if she stayed with him, he was going to be like a daddy, and at some point, the abortions wouldn't take. He was bound and determined. The good thing is that he did eventually meet another nice girl, and he actually did marry someone at the age of like 41 or 42, and they've got like 3 kids because he's still fertile myrtle.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Like that chick was just crazy, and she liked dick way too much.
Well, the truth fact is that there's men and women that are both like that character that Dave was playing. But if you want a good relationship, you have to pay attention to the other person. And if they say they love you and they want to be with you, but they're out sleeping with everyone else, why would you want to stay with that person? So that was what was good about Donna's character. Toby. What was her name? Donna something. What was her full name? The actress.
Donna Summers.
Donna. Oh, hold on. Give me a second. Let me look real quick. Donna Mills. Donna Mills was playing Toby. That's who I'm kind of dressed like a little bit because she was an artist. She was a sculptor. She painted, did things like that. And that's how she paid her bills. And she needed a roommate. So she had a roommate. And that's one of the things that Clint Eastwood's character didn't like was that he couldn't just go over there and do whatever he wanted with her because she had someone else there. Right? He didn't like that, but he wasn't willing to put a ring on her finger and buy her a house. Okay. So, you have to take what you can get. If you really care about someone, you make amends around that to be with them. Like you could invite her over to his house and cook dinner for her or something, do other things. But she lived out in the country, basically, a long drive away. So it was a lot of effort, for him. And he felt like if he went out there, he deserved to at least get laid. And see, I don't like that attitude either. But he was very open about it.
5 minutes. Don't you see the dedication I have?
Yeah. So, but he did a good job at being a believable, male chauvinist pig, basically, that was narcissistic, and he learned from it because of what happens to him with this woman when he finds out what it's like to have a woman that demands you know, you treat me this way. I want to sleep with you today. And then she tries to kill herself in his bathroom, you know. So he has to hush hush under the rug, pay a friend doctor to, you know, stitch her up and everything, and not report it so that he doesn't have to let anybody know about it, because it could hurt his career. And he's trying to get this better job at a bigger radio station. And that whole scene was to me was like the biggest scene in the movie, the most besides his housekeeper. Those two were the best scenes in the movie, about how far she was willing to go to get her way. And that was scary. And she did a great job. I mean, she didn't bat an eye. I mean, she just fell right into this role. And that was one of the things I did look up about it. And he said he picked her because he knew that she'd be able to be that versatile in her acting abilities. And she did. She was really good at it. You know what's sad though is that a lot of people that play that type of character, like, you know, what was it, Basic Instinct and Fatal Attraction, you get stereotyped in that. So the next time the guy sees you, they go, don't go near that girl. She'll put a rabbit in boil it on your stove, or she'll pull a knife out and cut your dick off or something. You know, that's the kind of you know, stigma that goes with these characters. But man, she did good. I thought she was excellent. I didn't even get a chance to look up and see whether or not this was nominated for anything, because I thought the script was really, really well done.
Script is very tight on this movie.
I thought the two guys that wrote it, I'm going to look up their names again. What was it, Don Helms or something? Let's see. Hold on, I'm trying to find them again. Well, I don't have it in order, so it makes it really hard. Shit. I can't find it on my list. Oh, here it is. Joe Helms and Dean Reisner. Is that their names? Yeah. And both of them went on to do the Dirty Harry movie. They wrote that too, I think. And then Joe Helms wrote the Fugitive TV show, and they worked on The Enforcer also. Weren't those those were Dirty Harry type movies, weren't they?
Yep.
Okay, so they're really good at writing for Clint Eastwood's acting abilities. I don't know if that makes sense or not, because I mean that's why you'll see John Carpenter picking certain actors multiple times to be in his movies, because he likes to direct certain types of movies, and he wants an actor that listens to what he says and takes a direction from him. Because when you get someone like Kevin Costner, you know, like when they were trying to do Waterworld, he was never happy with anything. So he wanted to rewrite everything. And it's real hard to work with an actor that doesn't want to listen to the director, you know, and it's hard to deal with people like that. But Clint Eastwood wasn't that. I didn't read anything negative about working with Clint Eastwood as a director. It seemed like all the directors liked working with him. Now, I think there was a couple of women that didn't like him, but I think it's because they slept with him and he didn't want more besides a romp in the hay, and they didn't like that. So anybody,
I mean, that is
sorry, go ahead.
That is a Clint Eastwood special. I mean, you work with Clint Eastwood, you're going to work with Clint Eastwood.
Yeah. If you choose to, you are. But now Donna Mills blatantly said many, many times, I did not sleep with him.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, if you worked with Clint Eastwood, it was common knowledge that you were probably fucking him on set or off set. I know.
So she wanted to make sure people knew that she did not go to bed with him, and that she was not any type of relationship with him. So
and I think it's kind of important, because Donna Mills has had a really good career path throughout most of Hollywood.
Yeah.
I also got to say that
she seemed level-headed though, as a person and an actress, on and off stage. You know, so I think that's one reason why she didn't need to feel like, you know, I have to be with him to boost my career or something. You know,
for the inquiry about the awards, Jessica Walter got a Golden Globe for Best Actress for this movie.
Good.
She got a Golden Globe because she was the best fucking part of the movie. I mean, I hate to say that.
Yeah, she was the best, most exciting character on the movie too, and she did a really, really good job playing somebody that had basically, everyone was talking when we were talking about the movie. We're talking about her snapping, but I think she was already way snapped because remember before she met him, because when she's sitting in the bar, she's got that she's just sitting there, like drinking her drink and just kind of looking around, at the end of the bar when he comes in and he looks and sees her because she's not ugly. I mean, she's built nice and she's very clean cut. She looks clean, like a good girl type of person that takes care of herself. And then the bartender says to him that she's waiting for someone. She's not gonna take your advances because she spurned all the other guys that's hit on her in the bar. So he does it anyways. He decides to draw her attention by playing some dumb game that they have, which isn't real, I don't think. It's just a bunch of thing with like bottle caps and corks from wine bottles and champagne that they're moving around like they're playing chess or something to get her attention. And I, honestly, that seemed very realistic to me because I do remember lots of guys like doing pool, doing shuffleboard and different things in bars or darts to attract women, to come over and see them because people are cheering and yelling or betting on them, that kind of stuff to bring, to make a focal point for the people to be looking. And then that way, when the women come closer, you get a good look at them, see whether or not you want to buy them a drink or, hit on them or whatever. So I thought that was a really good thing to do to draw her attention. And it worked because she slid over. But later we find out that she said, well, I was there to meet you. That was the only reason I was there. So she was already set up to meet him. She knew sooner or later he's going to come in this bar because he said so on his show. So she was already obsessed with him. Like what we were talking about was a couple of weeks ago about the girl, My Sister Sam. And that guy was obsessed with her and he traveled across country. It took some buses and some trains and stuff to get to see her. And then he killed her because he felt that, she belonged to him, even though she'd never met the guy.
Never knew the guy from Adam.
He was nuts. So basically, that's what she was. She was already stalking him by calling every night saying, play Misty for me, and then she got to sleep with him. And that was it, that having to have him hold her
chemicals
with her, put her over the edge. So he had no choice. I mean, she was not going to let him out of her sight.
She gave him little Clint. She wanted more.
Yeah, that's all she wanted. She just wanted.
She wanted everything.
No, that's what I mean. She wanted to own him. Once she had him in her grip, she wasn't going to let go of him. She'd kill him before she let anybody else. But boy, that scene where his maid came in to clean, and stuff, and he's walking around looking, and she sees the bed's messy or whatever, but she doesn't realize that there's somebody there until she goes in out of the room and she catches her in there, doing what she was doing, slashing the place up, and that's when she is confronted, and then she gets attacked by the psychopath that's there. But the woman didn't leave, and I was surprised. I didn't realize that it did. We never found out who called the cops or how the cops even got there because she was still there. Evelyn was still there with the knife and everything.
That is a problem with the movie script. I was waiting for us to talk about that because I did not see this at all in the movie.
Yeah.
How do the cops know about this?
That's the one question I had. There was just a couple little things like that kind of was like maybe a neighbor call, but see they could have had the cops say that. Well, one of the neighbors heard screaming or something, but they didn't because I kept waiting to hear more about it, but there was none. And then he shows up and all the cops, the ambulance and stuff's already in the street. And then he just, it's so funny. That was the second thing I didn't like is he's double parking all the time. He pulls up his other vehicles and he just blocks the road and then he runs in like, hey, look at me. I can do this because I'm a famous DJ. I mean, just that part I had a hard time with. So those were the two of the things that I was like, it wasn't in the script, but it's common sense to say, hey, you can't park like that. Because, it's...
Hey, you can't park there, mate. You can't park there, mate. You can't park there. You can't park like that, mate. I'm sorry. I was just thinking out loud there. I think this movie's kind of funny. I think there's a lot of stuff to it that the cops just showing up out of the blue. Who called them?
Yeah.
Who got these guys in here?
And she didn't have a oxygen or anything on it. And it looked like she took quite a few stab wounds from the way that they were filming it.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So, and there was lots of blood, tons and tons of blood coming off of her. So the fact that she just has that tiny thing up across her chin and no mask for oxygen or you know, them trying to put an IV on her so she's losing so much blood, you know, I mean, there was everywhere. Blood was everywhere. So, and I don't know. I just thought that was a little, you know, off. Just little things there like that just didn't set with what was going on, because this woman really took a beating. I mean, that was a giant knife. I mean, the knife was like this long. It was like a butcher knife, huge. And she was just going, you know, just swinging at everything, cutting up everything that she could put her hands on. So she meant business. She wasn't taking no for an answer. So, and then the scene at the dinner that he went to meet her, the DJ lady that was going to hire him for her radio station or whatever. And, she was an older woman, and she wasn't ugly or anything, but you could definitely tell that he had that little box sitting on the table, and they were having a meal, and it was in the middle of the day, and it was outside, you know, on a little veranda type thing with other people eating. And then she comes barging over there and saying, "This is your business lunch," or whatever, like she's owns the guy, you know. That's the scary part. And then she starts yelling and calling this woman an old hag, that she's old enough to be your mom, you know. I can't believe you want to dump me for a piece of ass, you know, an old piece of ass. It was just horrible. Everything she was saying was just horrible. And I knew that when he got rid of her and took her up there and he put her in that taxi and told the guy, just drive. And he gave him, I don't know how much money he gave him. He goes, where am I supposed to take her? He just dumped her off with this taxi driver. So
she can't be here.
As soon as he went back, you knew she wasn't going to be there. I mean, it was like, fuck you, you prick. And she got up and left, because, you know, if you're going to have people like that around you, I don't want to hire you. You're just bad news. So, you know, oh, well, that was, but it was sad that he had to go through something like that and lose such a good job, just to learn a lesson that maybe you shouldn't be sticking it in everything, because you don't know.
Hey, what are you saying?
I'm just saying, you're the one that brought it up way back, that how he's, you know, his room, he's got a revolving door in his pants, basically, even in all the other movies that we've been, real life, you know, romances. So he likes the women. Yeah, he likes the gals. And I was really surprised to see him walking around in tidy whities. So I've never seen that before. Yeah, I've never seen him in his underwear before. So that was a different thing. And I thought they did a really good job at not having to show TNA all through the movie, because when they were in bed together, even the scene where they're making love, Donna Mills and Clint are making love in the woods on the bed of clovers, which I thought was very romantic. The whole thing, the walk, and how he's spilling his heart out to her, basically, without even telling us. They just played one beautiful song by Roberta Flack during the whole thing, and you just see the beautiful redwoods. I think they were in the redwood forest, is what it looked like. At least I've been there before, so that's what it looked like to me, but it might not have been, but it sure was pretty. And the fact they bathed nude, you know, in one of the spring waters with a little waterfall and everything. I just thought the whole thing was very romantic. So, you know, he knows how to sweep a woman off her feet if he wants to. And I think most men do. It's just that most men don't want to take the effort. You know, she's not worth the effort. You know, it's too much work to keep her happy or whatever. So they just don't. Because why? Why not? Why waste my time doing all these things for her when I can just go to the bar and pick up any bimbo and just get off? You know, I don't have to put in all this effort. You only have to put in effort when you're trying to impress someone or you want to keep them happy. You know what I mean? And the thing is, if the man looked at it like, hey, by me doing this for her, she's going to do other things for me to make me happy, and that's what a relationship is, you know, that's the whole thing. It was just really sad to me, is that that he had no clue because he didn't even know what he had because he already had Donna Mills's character in love with him, and she would have done all these things for him. But yet, until he realized what he was going to lose, or what he was losing, or had lost, and how much she could change his life if he opened up to it, you know, and he already had it right in front of him. And there's many, many, many relationships like that. Men and women screw it up because they don't even look at what they have standing right in front of them. They don't want to take the time. It's too much work, you know, and it's really sad to see that, but it's real. That's one thing I liked about the movie. It was very realistic to me, the relationships in this movie, and how they poured their soul out in certain areas when they felt it was important. And then you had one that would say things to get what he wanted, but he didn't mean any of it. You know what I mean? Then you had his partner at the DJ, you know, the other DJ that was working before he would get there. He even tried to have a kind of a relationship, be friends with him, but he still wasn't even open to having him as a friend, because it takes work to have friends. You have to be able to listen to them if you want them to listen. If you ask them for advice, you want them to give them real advice instead of saying, I don't want to worry about it right now, you know, because he didn't.
What are you saying?
He didn't even want to be friends with his friend to go anywhere or do anything with him, you know, go out to dinner and hang out or nothing. So, and that's what I'm saying. A relationship, whether it's with your best friends or someone who wants to be friends with you, it takes effort. You have to spend time being a friend to someone else if you expect them to be your friend. You can't just expect everybody to come and fall at your feet because you're just some godly person that everyone wants to be around. And I like that. I liked how they portrayed that in the movie to make people realize that if you want a good relationship, it takes effort. You have to give and take. It's, you know, it's got to be balanced. And I think that towards the end of the movie, we feel like he learned that, because we already know Toby learned it because she talked about it throughout the movie. And you could tell by the way she looked at him that she loved him. She just knew that she just didn't want to get hurt again. She was tired of being hurt, and she wanted to move on and see if she could find someone else that would be good to her and love her for who she was and treat her with respect, you know. And I liked that. I thought it was really good. And he was in danger because of it. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I find that Clint Eastwood's character probably, he didn't have to act too hard for this movie. I think. I
don't think so either.
I think he just kind of woke up and he yawned and he looked at the script and he's like, "So I treat it like it's Tuesday, okay?" And that's kind of how it is, you know. I mean, he's not working too hard in this movie. This is one of the easiest films he's ever had to act in. And there's another movie of his called not Bewitched, but Beguiled.
Beguiled? I haven't seen that one.
He gets a room with a bunch of ladies that are nursing him back to health because he's a wounded Confederate soldier in this house with a bunch of ladies that are without their men and all that. And it's kind of like a Players Saga movie. Yeah. Which I'm not really interested in seeing it. I'm not. I'm just giving you the quick and dirty of it. But this movie, I'm sure he didn't have to act too hard in it. I think this movie is kind of like Clint. They knew Clint was going to star in it, and so they were like, "Well, how would you be?" "Oh, well, let me just be Clint, and I'll write this." And Clint's like, "You guys wrote about my Thursday, huh? Awesome, thanks." And that's the entire process of this film. They're just like, what would Clint do? I don't honestly feel that like they had a fictional character here. The most fictional thing about it is that Clint would have super knowledge, like a guru's knowledge of jazz and music in general. Because I just don't see him being that guy. You know, he has a lot of years on him. He's got time to study stuff and enjoy things. You know what music you like. But I just, of all things that I didn't expect him to be a jazz purist. And that just kind of
honestly, though, he's staying in Paint Your Wagon. In real life, he is into music. Okay.
He's into music in real life, yeah, but I just
Yes.
the
You're talking
jazz
about just his character in this movie?
in this movie, yeah, like
Okay.
the most fictitious thing about this movie is that somebody would actually like jazz this much.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't feel that jazz, yeah, this is where my personal bias is clearly in plain view. I don't think anybody likes jazz. People look at jazz like the same way we look at like ska music.
He was
Yeah.
40 years old when he made this movie. And I know years later that he ran for mayor of Carmel, right?
Yeah.
California. And he was mayor for a little while. And
Did
he loved this city. I could tell because he put so much of it
Yes.
in its backdrop of the movie and the music festival. He put it. That's one of the things I said that I thought was kind of weird about the movie was they're putting all this emphasis about the character arcs and stuff and leading up to the characters and what was happening between them. But then all of a sudden they're hanging out at a festival and he didn't have to do it for as long. It was almost like 5 minutes was all of the music and then walking slowly through the thing, when they could have done it for a minute and a half. See what I mean? And then had them have a conversation about different stuff and not have to do it. But you could tell he was doing it on purpose to show the backdrop because he loves that city. You could just tell he loves it there. The beauty of it is beautiful. I mean, where they went walking through the woods and then the inlet with the sandy beach and the rocky, cliffs behind them. Oh, it's gorgeous. California is a beautiful state. It really is. It has so much depth and beauty. Sorry, I got a good drink.
You're fine. I honestly, I think there's a lot of this movie that it was one of these films. It's a lot like the other project movie he did, The Achilles Heroes, where the location played into it. The fact they were able to set Kelly's Heroes in where it was because you have all these old pieces of World War II equipment conveniently nearby, and everything will just fit. We just need to make a movie. Just bring the cameras and lighting. We can do this. Get a pyro guy, and we can film a badass film. Let's make a badass war movie. And then this film here comes up, and he's like, well, shit, I can make a badass movie about a disc jockey. Yeah. And I've got everything I want in Carmel by the Sea. I know who caters here. I know who does this. I know who does that here. And I can get the key to the city, and I can show people that I am a quality director. And this is his first big directing movie, isn't it?
Yeah, it was his very first director. He was as a director.
This is his first time to shine. And he kind of knocks it out of the park. I'm not saying I like this movie by any means, okay? This is a movie that I will probably just watch today. Full one cut, start to finish.
Well, it's not really your genre of movies.
It's not my genre movie at all.
But you can still watch a movie like this and say whether or not you thought the director did a good job. So
yeah, exactly. The director did great. Clint did good. The girls did great. I love Jessica Walter.
Yeah, it was phenomenal.
I mean, this movie is just if you like Jessica Walter, if you already are watching Archer and you want to know more about that voice actress, this is probably the default that you should go check. And go check this off if you haven't watched it yet, because she plays such a fun, interesting character, and she gets to play the whole gamut of emotions throughout the entire film. And if you've ever dealt with somebody that's a completely abusive, sociopathic bitch, this movie, it completely showcases a woman's ability to kind of get in sociopathic bitch mode. I'm sure Jessica wasn't like this in real life, but the opportunity for her to be this way completely was. And she plays this character so well. She's the best part of the movie. I want to say I like Clint in this movie, but I really don't, because he makes some fucking errors in this movie. As a guy, you look at another guy, you're like, why are you sticking your dick in crazy? You know how this ends.
Yeah, because what was bad though, what made me feel like he wasn't ready for the relationship that he was trying to act like he was lying to Toby saying he wanted, right? It's because he kept, even though she showed how crazy she was, because he'd get that look on his face like, like, what the fuck do I have? But he still slept with her again. So
Yeah.
she must have had something he
Over
wanted. I
and
mean,
over.
how can a person keep sleeping with somebody over and over again when they're not married or anything, just because he's horny? I mean,
Well,
you know.
hold on, Janet. Have you ever? Okay.
Well, I'm
People-
just saying, you just said don't stick your dick in crazy, but yet he did it even though he knew she was crazy.
He did
Kept
it
doing
anyway because it feels good to stick your dick in crazy. It's one of the most relieving things. You just had a bullshit argument about how you felt Grimace was the most important character for you growing up, and this bitch says instead, no, it was actually the fucking giraffe from Toys R Us that meant the most to me, and it meant
Yeah.
it meant a lot to me when that guy that played the giraffe at Toys R Us, when he got fired, and I was only 9 years old, and I never saw him again. I never got a hug from that giraffe again. And you're like, fuck, she's nuts. Because she had a single mom raising her the whole time. Then her grandma raised her. And now I get to raise her for 30 minutes at a time. This girl's fucking crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Man, she can suck a mean dick. Holy shit. And that
Yeah, but
right
she was
there,
willing to do anything
that's
to
the
please
fucking
him in
linchpin.
bed.
That's
So-
the linchpin. Her fucking instability translates to her trying her hardest when she's horizontal or on her knees, because that's the only time she feels she's going to be able to lock somebody down. She best perform best for that guy right there, because the other 23 and a half hours a day that she's got, she's going out of her fucking mind because Grimace got fired. But when the giraffe got fired, that was catastrophic. And he was going to be the one to help her carry Barbie's dream house to mommy's Toyota Corolla. And now she's completely fucked in the head.
Well, I wanted to ask you about one of the scenes. I forgot to do it when we were all talking before we did the review. Was the scene where she shows up at his house, okay, and she left that dog there, right? That stuffed dog, a big Snoopy looking type dog, and had a note pinned to it. And he comes, he sees it, and he's reading it. He's like, he just can't get rid of this woman. He goes in, and then all of a sudden, there's a knock at the door. And when he comes to the door, it's her, and she's wearing a fur coat, and it's, nice out. And then he's like, what are you doing? I told you you need to not come around. Wait till I call or whatever, that type of thing, because he wasn't, and I'll call you if I decide to or whatever. So she says, what, are you going to make me go home? And then she pulls her coat off, right? And she's totally naked. And then he grabs her and he takes her back inside, and he sleeps with her again, even though she just did all this crazy shit with the dog and then being naked out in front of his house. So he was worried someone would see him, right? Or see her. But what would you do if some woman did that to you, even though you knew she was nuts? Would you still take her in, or would you just shut the door and call the police like you should have done?
Okay, Janet.
What? Well, what would you have done? What would you have
I'm
done?
Farmer Brown. The field is ready. I'm plowing it.
Okay.
Because that's what
So I
you
guess
do with
every
crazy.
man would have more than likely just said, come on in.
Come on in. I'm going to fuck your brains out.
I'm going to have some pie or whatever.
You're not leaving me alone. You've shown you're crazy. God damn it. I can't help but stick my dick in you every time you fucking come around here.
And then we wonder why we have so many messed up relationships. Well, that's one of them, because you gotta have some brains, when it comes to being in a bad relationship.
She's not a good participant in the stable Olympics, okay?
No,
She's
not at
really,
all.
She's really a poor contender in the stable Olympics. She's not stable. I don't know why she's in the running here. Like, holy shit, this woman is everything you're not supposed to be fucking, but god damn it, you're fucking it no matter how hard you try not to. And you're not trying that hard, Clint, because your other love interest, she lives way out in the boons, and that costs you 25 minutes of time. Whereas Miss Crazy Puss over here, she's only 3 minutes outside your way. You can go grab smokes and a half tank of fucking leaded fuel from that Citgo, and you can go over to her house, blow her baby batter all over her, spackle it all over her insides, go on home, and then after you get out of the shower, she's come over for round 2 because she wants more dick. Your 5 minutes, 6 minutes of time isn't enough. She got to have it all. She's going to fucking take all their time that you got tonight. And then she's going to fucking call you up tomorrow at work and request that goddamn song for that you want. And I got to say, thank God this movie, I didn't pay much attention to the soundtrack. I'm not a big fan of jazz. But I think this movie, back in its day, I think this movie probably was the start of audible cancer. The unification.
Well, they made more movies kind of similar to this, so this was pretty popular considering because it was Basic Instinct and then Fatal Attraction, and I'm sure there's been a couple other ones basically based on this.
I'm not talking about that. Let me speak real quick.
I'm sorry.
The record companies love making bullshit. Okay, they love making god awful films, and we had a Bruce explosion before the movie started where I'm bitching about how Titanic and Armageddon ruined terrestrial radio for me for life by playing their one iconic song forever. I mean, the radio companies and the media companies, they just love making audible cancer that's a horrible earworm that your 11-year-old daughter or cousin cannot keep off the goddamn repeat button. And worse yet, if you don't have a CD player, she's just going to cruise through the FM's channels until she finds somebody else playing that miserable fucking song. Thank God this movie didn't have that level of talent in the fucking in the motor pool for the music, because I'm not a big fan of jazz. I'm not a big fan of pop music anyway. But this film here had a lot of potential to where it could have had some real bangers in it, and it would have destroyed the audio market. The radio market would have been leveled by this film, because this movie should have had that. This movie should have had a miserable Celine Dion wannabe.
It didn't have that Roberta Flack song? Did it promote that song? Did it sell a lot? Did she sell lots of records after this movie came out?
I didn't know. I
don't either. I didn't look that part up.
I didn't look that part up. I was keeping an ear open because this movie's about a radio disc jockey. So I'm looking for a fucking hook in any of the music to be good. I want one of these songs to have a hook in it, and not a single one of them interested me that much. And then when, in the backstage room, by the way, guys, if you want to hang out with us before the show, Janet puts on the show for us, and we watch it, and then afterwards we all talk. Hardwick played some samples or whole songs in Discord of people doing various songs for this movie, and one poor soul gave this song to this lady, and she sang, and it sounded to me like a dying elk. Like if I was watching a Wilderness Channel, this sad animal was like dying from an animal bite or getting hit by a semi truck. I couldn't tell you, but then they gave the same song. Elvis made a song, and it was great. Completely two different songs. It's the same lyrics, it's the same tunes, but the lady Patsy Rydell. Is it Patsy Rydell? Was that who it was?
I don't know. I'd have to look it up. I can't remember her name. The guy that wrote the song, that actually wrote it for his wife, or the woman he was in love with. He was in love with her. He wasn't. Yeah, and then they got married after he got divorced from his other wife, and he was madly in love with her. And they stayed married until they died of old age, basically.
That's sweet. That's sweet.
I thought it was very romantic.
But I just got to say that the song he wrote for her was far better than her ability to perform it.
Well, yeah.
She was horrible.
She was a folk singer, though. It was a folk song, the way he wrote it. But when Roberta Flack sang it, it didn't sound like a folk song.
I always wonder what variety of rice fever did John Lennon have to marry Yoko Ono? Because, I don't know. I don't understand. What?
He fell in love with her.
I don't know. That sounds like an illness. That sounds like a mental illness. Because
he was happy. He seemed happy.
All right. Sorry. Not a fan of Yoko Ono. Not a fan of John Lennon. Anyway. So, you know what we're watching next week, Janet?
Mm-mm. I don't know.
We're watching Dirty Harry.
Dirty Harry. Okay, good. You should be happy with that one.
I am. I'm going to be very fucking happy with that one. I can't wait for that one. I love that movie. Now, do you
Yeah,
want to
it's
watch
gonna be
all
good.
5 of them at once? Do you want to watch all 5 of those one after another?
I don't
Or-
care. You're the boss.
Don't say that.
That's one reason you said you wanted to do all these Clint Eastwood movies up his career. And this one was important because he was an actor in it and he was the director and producer. He was a producer also. This was one of the first movies he did, I think, that wasn't MGM or something. Let me see real quick. My notes here. It said, let me find it. Where is it?
Like, there's just some movies of his I don't want to watch. There's a small handful. Because at some other point, they will be useful to play. Eventually, I will watch all the Clint Eastwood films. That's a guarantee. But I don't want to watch The Guiled right now. There's a reason for that. February 2027 is coming up.
Mm-hmm.
So, my next question. What did you think about this movie? What's your score?
Well, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a great script, and the editing was really good. I mean, so those two are the two things that I usually hammer on, but the acting was very good too. There was just a couple of directorial things that, like this, like I was telling you, the part that she just walks out of the police department after she just knifed a woman almost to death and trashed the whole house, and she's covered with blood and everything, and they know it's her or whatever. But she gets out after they send her to a psych ward for like 2 days, 3 days, and they just put her right back on the street. So I had a hard time with that. I thought that didn't fit, and the fact that the cops just showed up. We don't have any idea who called the cops or why they're even there to know that his house was filled with a woman cutting everything up with a giant butcher knife, and then
That was very arbitrary.
So that, and there was a couple other little things like that, but to me, that all fell on the director because the director is the one that's supposed to direct what's happening on set. So when those things didn't happen, that was on him. But you got to remember too, considering this was his first movie to direct, I thought it was really, really good for him to be a producer and a director, and he acted in it. So I thought he was great. I mean, you could tell he is definitely a natural when it comes to anything to do with movies. I mean, he just shows that he knew what he was doing, that he has a good eye, that he really was good at picking his two leading ladies in it because he's the one that picked them. So
yeah, I really liked Donna Mills' character. I thought she was the very sympathetic character in this movie, the one you feel sorry for the most because she's the one that's kind of stuck with this guy.
Well, she's down to earth. You know, her dad died and left the house to her, so she's trying to work harder to make more money so she can keep up the upkeep of this giant property that her dad gave her. So she has to have roommates. So see, all the little things that she talked about had meaning and purpose in her life, and she was sharing it with someone she was in love with that she thought one day might want to be her husband so she could have a family in this beautiful home that she grew up in. You know, that she had that down to earth quality, and she dressed like this, you know, because she was an artist. So she wasn't one of those women that was all stuck up and hoity toity. She was just down to earth, and she was sensible. And then, you know, she wasn't enough for him because he was constantly going out and finding other women to pork, you know, so she just felt like I got to move on. This isn't what I want in a relationship. So
I'm going to just ask you this: do you think after the end credits, do you think if this movie continued, do you think those two lived happily ever after? Do you think it ended?
Well, it depends. I think that it seemed to me at the end when he was standing on the balcony looking down, you know, after he pushed her and she fell into the ocean down below from the cliffs, that after what he'd went through, I think he'd learned his lesson. And then he spent that whole day with her, with her character, with Toby, and he'd already had a relationship with her, but him opening up to her and telling her all these things about what happened, and he lied about certain things and that kind of stuff. And they end up making love in the clover field at the end, and then they were hand in hand, and they go back before she gets kidnapped by Annabelle, the fake Annabelle, her roommate. I think he learned his lesson. And if he stayed in that mindset that he was in, that looking down into the water, seeing her floating, around her body, that I think if he stayed that way, which I pray, because I am a hopeless romantic, that they would have a wonderful relationship and they have a couple kids, and she would definitely be there for him. I could tell it wouldn't be her fault if something happened, because she seemed like she was willing to risk it all again, even though she'd already had her heart ripped out and thrown out in the garbage. She was willing to give him another chance, and that's because she really loved him. So I was hoping that at the ending that he learned from his mistakes, and he did care about her, and he did love her. That's why he hadn't given up. He was still wanting her, even though he could have anyone. See what I mean? So that gave her hope also. That's how I looked at it. But I was going to give this movie an 8.5 out of 10, because there's just a couple little things that didn't make sense, to put the movie together, how things just happened, out of the blue. Her getting released from a insane asylum after cutting her wrists up and trying to kill a woman, stabbing her to death. And she killed the other guy. She stabbed him in the chest with a pair of scissors. At the end, she ended up killing someone before he beat her up, and pushed her off the thing. I love that scene, though. Now, I bitched and moan about him being a womanizing pig, right? But when that scene came and you see his fist go back like that, and he punches her because she's already stabbed him like 8 times, and he had no other recourse because she was just nuts. When he punched her and he pushed her through that glass window, and then she fell over the cliff, I was like, yes, you're rooting for him. So to me, he earned his stripes back as a man, because he, instead of being a piece of shit man, he was a real hero of a man, because he had to do what he had to protect himself and his woman. Because he knew that if she killed him, she was dead too. Because the cops laying dead right at the door, with a pair of scissors sticking out of his heart. So he had to do what he had to do, and he did it. So I was proud of him for it. I think he learned his lesson, at least from my point of view. What do you think?
I give this movie a 68 out of 100.
Mm-hmm. But what do you think about their relationship after the credits roll? Like you asked me.
I think for about 2 months he's minding his P's and Q's.
Yeah.
For 2 months he's a good boy. For 2 months. But then one day he smells some new perfume coming out of the DJ booth. Find out he's got a new director, new program manager. He goes up to her and he's like, so, what's your name? And they talk. And I think that maybe she doesn't give up to him because that's her employee. Yeah. But instead, afterwards, he's driven so nuts by the fact there's some other strange out there he hasn't fucked yet. I think the moment he leaves the building, I think he's kind of like one of my friends in the oil field. I was married till I left the house. And, he just can't help himself. He's a prisoner.
Well, can I ask you a question about that? That's one of the things I've always wanted to know from men is a man that cheats like this guy did, right? What does he think about a woman that cheats with other men? I mean, is that even? Would he look at her and say, oh, well, she's just horny like I am? Or is he going to feel betrayed because she's cheating with other men because he's not enough? But apparently she's not enough for him. So what's the difference?
There's no difference there, but it's all matter of perspective. Either you recognize the fact that you're not enough for somebody else, or you're fucking just like got megalomania about your penis. And like, how could she go find another guy? Isn't my dick enough? Isn't my 4.5 inches enough?
Yeah, but what do you think? If you're cheating on her and you find out she's cheating on you, would you still think she's a slut and a whore because you're doing the same thing?
No. But the
Different
thing
for women
if
than it is
you're
for
asking
guys.
me, what does Bruce think?
Yeah.
If I'm cheating on a person and I find out she's cheating on me as well,
Mhm.
I'm going to ask for, hey, we're going to go to dinner tonight.
Mhm.
I just had a bad day. I don't want to cook at home. Let's go to dinner. At dinner, just look at her and be like, you know, when I first met you, I was crazy about you.
Mhm.
I couldn't get enough. I needed you. I wanted to smell you all the time. I wanted you to sit on my lap and feel my dick get throbbing hard and veiny. And I couldn't wait to put my arms around you and bury my face in your tits and just eat your cooter like it was fucking vanilla ice cream, and I could spackle some baby batter on it, and
Oh my
you know the
goodness.
day would be great.
Mhm.
And I wanted to do that like 6 or 7 times a day with you. I still want to fuck about 6 or 7 times a day, but you're not here all the time. And I find out that that's my fault because I'm weak. I don't wait for you to go home with you. I'm not there to do stuff with you, and I'm sorry. But then I find out that you're fucking somebody else too.
Mhm.
I need to ask you a question. Do you want to continue what we got where we have occasional sex? I don't really want to be bitter. I don't want to be angry.
Mhm.
But do you want to be exclusive with me? Do you want to be sharing with me, or do you want to get rid of me? This is kind of up for you to decide. I kind of have an idea of what I want, but it's unfair for me to just judge automatically. You know, we live together, we do stuff together, blah blah blah. I need to know, where do you want to go?
So you
And
put it on her plate?
uh, I would, but the ticker to get single again
Mhm.
would be counting down, unbeknownst to her, because like if she's not going to be exclusive to me and she expects me to pay for every fucking thing in the house, or I got to still pay half of whatever, and
Yeah,
I
but
don't
if
have
you were cheating, why would all of a sudden it change just because she's cheating too?
it doesn't
Because
really change anything. It just means the fact that now, like, I'm no longer wholly responsible if like one of us gets a strange and unusual venereal disease. Now we're both caustic and toxic for each other.
Mhm.
We're obviously not right for each other, but I'm too stupid to think about like breaking it off fully.
Well,
And the
see,
thing
I
is,
wish more people would think about that because I think
what?
you'd be happier. I think more people should think about if I want other people, I should be out of my relationship because I can't be happy with the one I'm in. Because if I'm wanting to be with someone else, why am I in this one then? See what I mean? So I wish
Mhm.
more people would think about that. And that's one reason why any other adult, I would tell them, I think this is a good movie to watch simply to make, especially if you're in a relationship where you don't know if it's the right one, watch it. Or any of these 3 characters, the person you're dating, you need to get the hell out. That's basically what I would say. Unless you're with Toby. If you're with Toby, then you got a good relationship, that you got a good potential for a lasting relationship. But if you're with the other 2, with Evelyn or Dave, you need to get out. I mean, pack your shit and just leave because it's not going to work out. You'd hope it, just like most women that I know. I'm not saying it's not men, but because I can only go by what I've known for fact, is that most of the women I know that stayed in bad relationships because they had kids, or they gave up their career to stay home and take care of the kids, and now they can't afford to get away. They can't afford to get a divorce because how are they going to take care of their kids and work, and do that now? So they just stay in a bad relationship and just live there because they don't have any choice. They feel like they're trapped. And then when the kids are gone, that's why you see so many relationships get divorced after the kids are grown, because they finally are out of it. They feel like, okay, I don't have to be here anymore. I can just get a job and just take care of myself because now I don't have to pay for a sitter. I don't have to do all that stuff. And because I've been miserable for years because he's never there. He's cheating on me all the time. He never helps around the house. He doesn't help with the kids. It's always my fault, blah, blah, blah. And I quit everything just to stay home and take care of his home. And that wasn't enough because he wanted other women, because I couldn't give him the time he needed because I'd been up all night with a kid that was sick or whatever. They have no communication. But she stayed because she had no other means of taking care of herself. And that's really sad. I see it. I see a lot of that with a lot of my friends. And it's terrible, especially because it was military, mostly military women married to military guys. So it's really sad. But that's what I would tell them. Watch this movie because this movie is it lays it all out. I mean, it's as plain as day what kind of person he is, what kind of person Toby is, that wants to be in a relationship, but she just can't deal with him. Or she says, I just can't take it anymore. You know, she's getting to where she hates herself. You look in the mirror and you're like, what's wrong with me? You know, I do this, I do that, I do all these things, but it's never good enough. He still doesn't care about anything I do. He doesn't want to be with me, but he's with me. You know, it doesn't make any sense. And so you just should get out. If you can get out, get out. But you could also be with that one, with Evelyn, and you got one who's obsessed with you, never leaves you alone. It just shows up at your work, shows up at your dinners when you're doing a business dinner, or you're out with your guy friends and she just shows up, you know. So, I mean, you can have really bad shit going on if you're not careful. So
I'm not trying to judge Clint. I'm really trying not to judge Clint, because I didn't get married till I was 47. And even then that was a bad mistake, but just a poor choice. But the thing is that I've been where Clint was. I used to be a flavor of a month, and I've had a lot of partners in, you know, short period of time, and I get it. You know, whenever fucking you find out that the women of this area, they like a guy that's stoutly built, that's got a shaved head, that has a goatee and beard, goatee and mustache, you know, that when they see that, you know for a fact, like, all you got to do is croon out some Dean Martin, and you hear the panties get softer, they get moister, you can hear it.
Even though you hate Dean Martin, you'd play it?
I love Dean Martin.
Oh, I thought you said you didn't like jazz and stuff.
I don't consider him jazz. I can consider him a sing era. He's part of the Rat Pack or the Rat Pack. What are you talking about?
Well,
that's good music.
Some of the songs are jazzy songs. It's like Sammy Davis Jr.
Just because he made some jazz songs doesn't mean he enjoyed it. I mean, for crying out loud, a prostitute takes up the ass every once in a while. You know, it doesn't mean she enjoys the shit out of it. I'm just saying, like, you know,
you could play it, but I have to really like it.
Yeah. Frank Sinatra probably sang some songs he thought was utter dog shit, you know.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that he didn't fucking earn that check to pay the mortgage. He sure shit earned that check. And I'm a very big fan of Dean Martin. I listen to a lot of him, a lot of Ella Fitzgerald, a lot of Old Blue Eyes. 2016, I was hot on that because I was driving for Uber, and I had a, what do you call that? Pandora account, and I would just listen to the Sing era Rat Pack shit over and over again. And guys would enter my car, hey man, play this rap song, and their girlfriend's like, no, don't you dare play the rap song. This is actual music, you little shit. And I'd get that over and over, and I got more tips from the chicks, from their wives, than I did from the dudes, because the guys were like, man, I want to hear this song, it makes me feel like a badass. And the chicks are like, no, I want to hear a guy that actually has talent. Fuck you. I got 7 minutes in this car. Make him enjoyable. And that was something I learned. Like, everybody seemed to really like the Brat Pack, or the Rat Pack, as I call them the Brat Pack. They're actually the Rat Pack. But the Ella Fitzgeralds, the Dean Martin, Sinatra stuff, that seemed to really get a good following. So I milked that for tips, and I enjoyed the shit out of myself. And I really enjoy that. But I know there's some jazz out there. Some jazz is not bad. I just consider jazz to be like the Special Olympics of music. It's kind of like country western before, country western. Anyway.
Well, one of the things I wanted to add that one reason I'm so impressed with Clint Eastwood is Clint Eastwood started out as an extra, and he worked his way up to what he is today, a legend when it comes to movies, direction, producing, singing. He's even sang on some of his movies. So he's very, very talented, and he never gave up. You know what I mean? And people pointed the finger at him in lots of different areas, but he never quit. He just got up every day and did the best he could with what he had, and put everything he could into it. Because I could definitely tell that, and he learned from each movie that he made. Just like I said about some of the scenes in this movie, from the movies he made by paying attention to the directors of the movies that he was in with the spaghetti westerns. He put some of the details that he liked from those movies into this one by the zooming in of the eyes and different little things that he did. Yeah, he forgot to put certain things in it that to me that connected if he wanted to win an Academy Award, you know what I mean? But it was still very entertaining. You know, it wasn't exactly the genre you love, but to me, the movie it kept you, I was like clenching my fists a lot because I didn't know what was going to happen. And then the scene where he opens his eyes and she's standing above him with the giant butcher knife ready to stab him in the head. And he moves just in time and it sticks in the mattress and the pillow. I jumped, you know, so it had lots of twists and turns in it. You didn't really know what was going to happen. And you didn't feel sorry for him at all till it got closer and closer to the end. You know what I mean? Because you felt like, well, this is what you get. But then Toby gets taken. So now he's got to save Toby because it's not her fault that any of this shit's going on. But she thinks it's her fault. And she cuts her hair off. All her pretty blonde hair, she starts chopping it off, you know. And she said, I could just take these scissors and take your eye out because I bet he loves those pretty eyes you have. Stuff like that. I mean, she's a real nut. I mean, she is really crazy. She did such a good job. She was scary. She was a very scary, crazy nut in this movie. And she did a really good job. Sometimes when she was just sitting on the bed looking straight ahead, she was scary. You know what I mean? I don't know. She did really good. I was very, very impressed with her. She definitely is the lead of this movie. And I can see why you said the other actor that was offered the job didn't want it, because to go against a character like that, that's going to take a lot of acting to act your way out of that. But Clint didn't care. He just portrayed the person he felt he had to be, which was a womanizing pig, basically. And I thought he did a good job. And it looked like he did it effortlessly, because that probably is a lot of who he was at that time when he was 40. You know what I mean? But it looked like he did it real easy. It was easy for him, didn't it?
Yeah, you looked like he was having a great time making this film. I think he did such a good job with this movie that this movie year kind of like prepared him for what was to come, the Dirty Harry films.
Yeah.
Because he just figured he could play aspects of himself very easily. He's not having to play the character off of Rawhide now.
Does he direct any of those movies?
I think the fourth one, I'm not certain.
Well, he definitely is producer, and I think in all of them.
All of them, yes.
Yes. So that means he does have some say in the script and in different other technical issues that go along with the movie. I think he was involved in a lot of that, because I can just see as he goes through his movies and you watch them, like when we get to the Bridges Over Madison County, I can't wait to do that one. I'm really excited about it. It's another one that I don't think you're going to like, because it's more of a romance type thing, mystery romance type movie. But I think it's got a really good story, and the acting is phenomenal. And I think he might have directed that one too, but I don't know. I'd have to go back and look. But that's one I wanted on the list. And when you said you were doing Clint Eastwood, I was like, great, because this movie we just did was one of the ones I suggested, because it was my mom really liked this movie. So, you know, I think it's great to just see him growing as an entertainer for people, and not just entertainment by being an actor, because he can sing, he can act, he can write, he can direct. You know, there's very few of those in Hollywood, and I hate to say it, but I think that those days are numbered of us having people that can do that.
One other guy of the boomer generation that does a great job of being a producer, a director, a financier, scriptwriter, director of photography, and an actor. And as much as I can't stand him, or you can't stand him, Sly Stallone has made a lot of money from people in Hollywood.
Yeah, and he's very talented.
He's amazing.
Just like Gene Hackman, what I'm saying is that era is fading out now. Okay, of those people, who's going to step up after that? Who is coming up? See, Ryan Reynolds pops up, because the whole thing of all the work that he did just to get Deadpool on the screen, after the fiasco they made when they had him as Deadpool, he knew they fucked it up really bad, and he just wanted to see the real Deadpool from the comic books come to life, and he did that, and he did everything he had to get that to happen. So there's and then you got Hugh Jackman. He can sing and dance and write and direct. He's done a lot of that stuff too. So we still have a few, but it's not as many, and it's slowly fading out. And with CGI, who knows what direction we're going to go in. So, I'm kind of waiting to find out about it. But when I was reading about Clint Eastwood being in some movie, it was called, I'm trying to remember the name of it. Oh, stinks. I can't remember. Something, it was like The Creature, Revenge of the Creature, first of all, released in 1995 as a direct sequel to 1954's Creature from the Black Lagoon. Revenge of the Creature saw the Gill man surviving being blasted with bullets. So they're just talking about that was before Clint Eastwood got his first role ever in that one. The Revenge of the Creature was the name of the movie that he was an extra in, and that's what started the whole thing for him. Basically, he got the bug.
I think today, thematically, we need to talk about a singer that died on the 29th. Have you ever heard of David Allan Coe?
Yeah. He died?
He died on the 29th of April.
What happened?
He was 85 years old.
Oh, so he died of natural causes. Okay.
Yeah.
So, well, he's old.
86
so
years old.
Mm-hmm.
He died in Dallas, Texas here. Mm-hmm. But it's kind of sad. The guy was a really good author. He was a good script writer. He was a good songwriter, and he wrote books. He was an interesting character. He kind of started the entire movement for outlaw country, and he did stuff kind of different. But there was so much stuff that David Allan Coe did, and one of the most famous songs that I liked him for, even though he's a country western artist, I'm not a big fan of country western music. Mm-hmm. He did a song called "Now I Lay Me Down to Cheat," which I thought was hilarious because I was introduced to that by a trucker who couldn't keep his dick out of everything that crossed his path. He liked to fuck him every. Are you a hot girl at a truck stop? Well, David's gonna fuck the shit out of you, and that was kind of how it all worked. I mean, I was driving down the road with this prime transporter and this freight shaker he had, and every time we'd stop, there was like a bingo card. You could play bingo, and if you in the first 2 minutes you didn't get your bingo with all the things this guy was throwing out at the Puno on the road, you get back in the truck and after fuel up diesel, off we go. But probably once every 2 days, he would find a place to port up and find a woman to take his dick. And the whole time we're listening to David Allan Coe in 2006, rolling down the interstates of America for Prime Trucking. And I miss Dave. I don't know what happened to Mr. Nicola, but he was a very influential individual for me. He taught me a lot of stuff about, just rolling stock and getting things taken care of and being safe. But then there was the other lessons that he taught that I didn't mean to catch so well. And I used those lessons between 2007 and 2010 when I lived in this really nice place in Deer Creek, Illinois. Mm-hmm. And I was sandwiched between Bloomington and Peoria, two towns that are a center point for single moms. So I'm just going to say thank you, David Allan Coe, for giving me those lyrics. And thank you, David Nicola, for training me at Prime. But that was interesting. I don't know if you remember much about David Allan Coe, but he had a very interesting career. Rest in peace, sir.
But I wanted to, before we get finished, there was one piece of trivia that I found that I thought was really interesting, because Please. You don't hear a lot about women. Remember, we went on and on about Gina Davis doing most of her own stunts, or all of them basically, because they didn't have the money to hire some people, because the production company had already spent $60 million before they even started on film. Okay, so they couldn't afford a lot of stuff. That's why it was already a box office bomb, because it was already way in over its head before they even started production. Well, the actress that played Evelyn in this movie, when you see her at the very end, because when he punches her lights out and she goes flying backward through the glass door and then over the balcony and then hits the sides of the cliff all the way down and she's in the ocean. Well, when you see her floating in the water, that's really her. That wasn't a stunt double. That was her doing it, that part as an actress. So I don't know. It's just, to me, it seems like we might be losing some of that, where we have actors and actresses that really act, and do the whole things on their own instead of using CGI or, like Tom Cruise. He's adamant about doing as many of his own stunts as he can. It won't be long and he won't be able to, because once you get to a certain age, you just start breaking your legs and shit if you're getting bashed all over the place, because you can't help it. You just get older and your bones are weaker. But it's just nice and refreshing to see, to have read that about her being that kind of an actress. And that was one of the reasons why Clint Eastwood said he picked her. He thought that she was perfect for the role. Because after he talked to her and he saw her in some of the other things that she was in, he just thought she was pretty. She had a certain look to where she looked like just a beautiful woman that would be walking through the mall and people would turn and look, because she's very statuesque, and he just thought she'd be perfect and she could act. So she could too. She did a very good job at playing a crazy person that wants to kill you with a big butcher knife. So, I just thought that showed me also that Clint knew what he needed to fulfill the needs of the characters in his script that he wanted to, bring to life. So that, to me, for his first movie, I really was impressed. I thought he did a really good job. I just wanted to make sure I said
I thought it was crazy. I thought for a first movie, this was really well done.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very sorry that I don't like the movie more. I am.
Well, it's just not the genre of movie that you would buy tickets to go see. There's nothing wrong with that.
Not in the least bit. But it was a very fun movie to watch and a fun movie to learn about. And there's a lot of personal lessons in here that you could take, and you could watch this and be like, wow, that really had some interesting stuff in the film.
Mm-hmm.
And I think young men would be smart to look at icons that we still have with us, like Clint Eastwood, to look at guys like John Wayne and figure out exactly what made them drive so hard to be so good in front of the camera. Why were they considered such a pillar of that community? Why do your grandparents, why did your parents love it on Sundays when TBS would start airing a John Wayne marathon or a Clint Eastwood marathon? What is it about the way these guys act, or the way that the scripts they get seem to handle adversity? And you get to learn a small lesson in each of them. Now, this movie, the lesson is, don't stick your dick in crazy. Yeah. If you disagree with me, let me know, Janet. But
no, I definitely agree with you. We talked about it, for ad nauseum, basically, because it's like I don't get it. I mean, if I meet somebody and they kind of like, I just want to go, oh God, can't wait I have to go to the bathroom, or something to get the hell out of Dodge. I would just leave. But see, going in for seconds and thirds and stuff to me is like, you're crazy. Any person that would want to stay with somebody like that is not normal. That's not a good place to be in your life. You're lacking something if you have to keep doing that yourself. It's not just them being crazy. You're part of the problem.
I recognize I was part of the problem for a couple girls that I was with.
Mm-hmm.
But there's also some things where you find out some things about yourself and you learn how to be a healthier human being. Mm-hmm. And once you figure those things out, that's where like your fun in life starts, because then you can calm the fuck down about shit. You can start enjoying the things that you've been blessed with. You can start doing the things that you're really good at. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I say that as I'm adding ink to a scenery piece for our gaming, but I really am blessed to be where I'm at in life, because I know what I enjoy. I know who I want to be with. I know what I am doing for fun. And I know every day during the week what I'm going to be doing. There's mm-hmm. never a question about what am I going to do for rent this month. I already know what I'm doing for rent this month. What am I doing in the meantime? I'm begging Hungar, dude, turn on your thinking cap, make some more fucking shirts, bro. I just bought
Yeah.
4 of them, and I mean, granted, 2 of them are the shirt of the Pepe the Navigator. I love Pepe the Frog, and I'm gonna get 2
Yeah,
more of
you,
them.
you talked about that. Was it 2 weeks ago?
That's
That
my
one.
favorite shirt that he ever made.
Hmm.
But I really love what he does. I think Hungar is a great guy. I'm so sad that the guy's got the medical issues he's got, but you know, at the same time, that's like God giving you a blessing. Like, okay, listen, I can't tell you when you're going to die, but here's what you can die of because it's a pressing issue in your life. So if you fix this set of circumstances in your life, you'll live longer.
Hmm.
Something else can get you, but right now, this is your fucking stage 4 cancer bullshit. Handle this, and you got it. And Hungar's done really well because he's known he's got problems. He used to be in and out of the hospital all the fucking time. And now God damn it, where's the wood at? Okay. So I found the wood. I knocked on it. And we know that Hungar's got problems, but he does a good job of preparing himself. He doesn't have those issues anymore where he has to get whisked off to the hospital. Thank God for that.
Hmm.
The rest
Yeah.
of you guys that don't have health issues, maintain your health.
But the good thing I see with James and Hungar, right, is
Oh
the
my
fact
God.
that they're
So many good things.
close. They talk to each other. They have fun together. And that's what I try to tell people all the time. Enjoy what you have right in front of you right now, because today might be the last day you're here, because you might get hit by an asteroid. You might get run over by a bus. A tornado could come. We have no idea what is in our life tomorrow. We really don't. That's all out of our hands. But all we can do is lead our lives the best we can with what we have and what we know we have. And, enjoy who you're with, that kind of thing. Because this is it. These are our memories right now that we're making. And the memories is what you take with you. You don't take this stuff. Money doesn't go with you. You just take what you are, who you are with you, your soul.
Yeah.
And all
Someone
your
out there, somebody is going to be an awful lucky motherfucker if they live miniatures the day I die, because they're going to get all of it. I don't know
Mhm.
how it's going to be passed out. I'm not dead. I couldn't tell you.
Mhm.
But I know for a fact that somebody, whenever I go, I can't take any of this shit with me. So I'm enjoying it while I've got it. I love the process of just painting this stuff.
Mhm.
And I'm looking forward to painting my next new blister pack. I did order some new miniatures, and I'm building another list of miniatures to buy because I saw some half-orc miniatures and orcish miniatures off the Reaper website. Like, oh wait, I don't have those yet,
Mhm.
and I really love greenskins. Who doesn't love greenskins? Oh, Bruce, you're racist. I'm not racist. I just know what I like.
But see,
And
doesn't James do the same thing?
yes, he does. And
Okay,
he
but he
ordered
does
them.
a lot of different types of characters than you do.
Yeah, and
I
he
see him
does
do
a
like
lot
little
of fantasy.
soldiers and stuff.
He does fantasy. He does sci-fi. I primarily stay in fantasy, and I love fantasy. Not that I don't love sci-fi. Not that I don't love Nor style characters,
Mhm.
but I really know what I like, and I know what I'm going to use. These characters that I paint are for a reason. They're going to appear on camera one of these days as something that the players will have to interact with, or worse yet, they have to dispatch. Like a
Mhm.
very certain angry orc yesterday that
Yeah.
leveled the party and almost had a TP fucking K. And then me and Kai talked about it later. I'm like, I think my game is almost perfect because I was willing to kill half or all the party, and I would have been happy killing half of you, because then I would have made my next video with all of you guys. You would have gone through the process of going through character creation on camera, and you guys would have had the joy of figuring out what the fuck is Bruce's lab like, because we're going through a whole different process than when we first started to play. When we first started playing, Bruce just gave us characters. Here you go, bam, there you go, there you are. Start rolling. You're level 1. Don't fuck up. Don't die. And you did till you were level 9. And then yesterday, you guys almost got destroyed by a single guy. A
Yep.
single
He was
motherfucker.
huge, and he was so tough. One punch, it was 50 points. I mean, it was tough. I didn't
Okay.
think we were gonna live.
Well, here's the thing about my game that is so much better than other games out there. One, magic items, magic weapons are fucking powerful.
Mhm.
Secondly, they're valuable. Thirdly, they're to be feared.
Mm-hmm.
So, knowing that, this, by the way, this is a brand new tub. I bought this for $29 on Amazon. These guys don't sponsor me. They're not part of the channel. This is the Master's Brush Cleaner. Yep. It's the same thing as this here. Okay. In fact, this is just a small tablet, and I've got some little bar soap here. But from here on out, I love this stuff, and I love using these soaps. And by the way, these are old Duke Cannon soaps. I probably could put these in here. I'll make them meld together and have something for my master bathroom shower, or my guest bedroom shower. I don't know.
You can just get them really soggy and you get you a couple molds.
Yeah.
That's all you need.
So anyway, this here is an older, this is what this looks like after 3 years.
Oh my
goodness. So I bought a new one. Oh yeah. Yeah, this thing deteriorated like crazy. And it's all my brushes that I've got. I always use this stuff to clean the brushes with. Mm-hmm. They have a little puck they sell for like $8. Don't buy it. This is it. It's not bad. It'll last you about 3 months of industrial brushing. Mm-hmm. This here will last you years. This is what I recommend. This is what you want. Do not buy the pucks. Spend the $29. You have something that you can use over and over and over again through the years, and it will be there for you each and every day. Mm-hmm. Okay. Now that I've said that, what else?
Dirty Harry next week.
What? Dirty Harry. Dirty Harry's next week. Mm-hmm. Next week, you guys also have the Pathfinder game. You have the final part of the Jowls of Orcus, because there's undead giant, maybe a lich in there. There's other undead. And you're getting close to the end of that book. You're in the head of the fucking cathedral. What else is there? You know? And I'm loving that campaign. I hate the game system. I love the campaign. The campaign is a lot of fun for me. So I hope you're enjoying it, Janet. And I hope you guys that are watching.
I have been. I've enjoyed it since the first day I started. I honestly, at first, the first 4 or 5 games, I felt like, oh, they all hate me because I'm so slow and don't know what I'm doing.
You're not slow. The fucking system is slow. You're just showing us how slow the system is. And more so, Pathfinder forces you to have to use like a electronic character sheet that does all the math for you, because for some odd reason, Pathfinder's unnecessarily bloated. My system, I don't feel is that bloated. Do you think it's bloated or no?
No. The only problem that I don't like about it, like I told you the other day when we were playing, was because when I first started playing, I played your other game, right?
Yep.
The rules or whatever they are, however, I don't know. I couldn't explain it to anyone how the game works or whatever, you know, all that's the technical stuff. But the difference is that when we're playing the other game, as I'm watching what's unfolding in front of me before it comes to me, I can decide what I want to do. You know, like let's say Nerdy Org is down to 1 health point. Well, I'm going to heal him. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go lay on hands and bring him back up because we need him. But in the game, your game, I already have to tell you what I'm doing before it's my turn again. So even though everyone's almost dead, someone's got their limbs cut off and this person's gutted and this and that, I can't do anything. I have to do the same spell that I said I was going to do after my last turn. That's the only thing.
And that's the thing. Everything has consequences.
I know.
One, I love
the only thing so far that I feel like I can't control.
I like it for that, because if you were to try to be like, oh my God, let me interrupt my action, then you have there's even more cost to you trying to put the brakes on and change momentum to doing something else. And that right there, that I do have that in the rules, but of course you and the other 6 players I've had, you guys don't look at the rule set. I've shown you the rule set a few different times. There's a link out there.
I can't remember shit. I mean, I admit that. I'm not saying I don't.
And I'll be getting you your 6 level spells here this week.
Well, I want to poke holes in the papers, and I want to put them in a notebook where I can just go like this instead of flipping through, because I drop them and I put them back together and they're not in order. It's just, it just sucks. I've got to put them in a notebook because that would be way easier for me.
Okay.
But that has nothing to do with you. That's just
No.
me needing to follow it better and keep up on it. But I do
I
like writing stuff down, because when I say that I want to, give this much money to someone, I want to write it on there to make sure that I don't forget to take it out of my balance. Things like that.
and
I
and
think
that's so fucking funny because in the old systems, like carousing was a part of the game where like after you went and you like found Bargle and you freed the orphans and the dogs, you would go to town and you would like pay. You had the opportunity to talk to a bard, and it was written in the module like if you give the bard this much money, he sings about you, and people will know about you, and that will lead you into your next adventure. And if not, the players spend like 2d4 days kicking around town, not doing shit. Like, man, I wish there were some goblins to kill. And then, like, they're given their next job.
yeah.
But the thing is that there's something called carousing. And in the 5th edition community, there was a lot of people that don't like 5th edition D&D. No surprise. It's a
Mhm.
big corporate game that Wizards of the Coast is milking dry. And there's a lot of people who don't like it. But there's a couple people that said 5th edition's not bad. There's some workability here. We can use this for what we want. And they made a game called Shadow Dark, which is based on basically 5e, but it has a lot of the first edition 1970s mindset behind it. And one of the things about the 1970s mindset is after you do something cool, don't bottle it up. Don't tell people, don't hide it from people. Tell everybody you know that you go and you do shit that's cool. So, like part of the game after the big dungeon crawl is you
Mhm.
go carousing. You tell people like, "Hey, listen, here's some money because I'm an adventurer and I believe in our cause. Talk about us, sing about us, do what you can." And you're over there as the goodly priestess. You're like, "Hi, I'm a priestess from here, and I want to give my money to the orphan kids because I love orphan kids. I want to make sure that nobody in the world has a want or need they can't fulfill. If not, I'll be around and I'll make sure that you have the things you need to fulfill your dreams. And I'm going to try to make sure that I touch all the kids and I make them feel good. And I let people know it's okay. You can be an orphan and you're not ostracized. We don't treat people differently. We want to make you feel at home, like there is a family out there for you, and you can start your own life once you turn 18 and do your own things, and you can be a good person, and
Mhm.
you're out there just spreading this good gospel. And the thing is
That's what
that
I think is important to me as my character. But
in in the games, you're carousing. You're doing your own version of carousing. You're not out there at the bars telling the barmaid and the barkeep and the bard like, "Hey, my name is Bob. I'm from Acme Dungeon Clearing Company, and I'm
But
over
when you
here."
were saying that the other day during the game, when you were saying that to us, the first thing that popped in my head was the movie that I tried to get you to go see with the fat dragon, because that's what the guy that played
Chris
uh,
Pine,
yeah, Chris Pine did that with his bard, with that
yeah,
bard.
'cause he's a bard. That's what
Yeah, I
bards.
know.
Bards,
So I
bards
just thought
in
that was
town
so
are
funny
barmen.
because that's exactly what he was doing. And I thought, wow, see what he's saying is exactly what was in that movie. So,
So, so the thing is that you, without even playing the game, you understand the purpose of having somebody talk about your exploits.
because there's no
Whereas
newspaper, there's no
I've got
internet.
I've got other players in my game that don't really get it yet. They kind of get it. They don't. They really don't get it. God bless them. I love you, but you're fucking up the curve. And Janet, brand new player, has had a few years in this world. Uh, she's my age. You've done things and been places, and you've been around enough to where you got to have somebody help you out. You got to have an agent if you want to have an IMDb, and that's the thing. You got to talk about yourself or have somebody
You
talk
got to
about you.
promote yourself.
Exactly.
It's
And so many
promotion.
people
Yeah.
don't fucking value themselves enough to give themselves the accreditations like, hey, you should have somebody with a few dollars in their pocket talking about you because you've done some really cool shit. And that's something that you get. I wish my other players did. Corbin, he does have a bard NPC cohort, but he
Mhm.
doesn't really use it outside of the dungeon. Corbin's only purpose in the game is, I'm in the dungeon, I just want to go beat up shit. And I love Corbin to bits, but Corbin hasn't learned that the game is far more than just being inside a dungeon and killing shit. and maybe I haven't given him those opportunities yet as a DM. I don't know, but I can tell that like he's got half the game down right, and then the other half of the game it just kind of blows by him. But that's just me, and I'm just namelessly bitching. But I would love to see him embrace like all aspects of the D&D game and the character and all that. And you know, the carousing thing he could have down pat because he's got a bard cohort. Okay, I'll shut up now. For those of you guys that want to see what the fuck I'm talking about, next week on Saturday we will be having a high-level Pathfinder game where the players are in the fight of their life in the Jowls of Orcus, a gigantic cathedral in the very far back of the city of Zar on the plateau, overlooking the city and the other parts of the desolation. There's a giant cathedral that is giant. It's mainly a big tower slog, and the players are doing their best to kill everything that represents the evil within.
Before it kills us.
Before it kills them.
Yeah.
And I'm doing a really good job of making the players feel inadequate. I enjoy myself, but that's a Pathfinder first edition game, and you'll hear me bitch about the Pathfinder combat system and round by round combat. But in my game, we don't have round by round combat. It's like, what do you want to do now? Okay, you're going to plan to do it, and then when that gets to over their turn, they enact it, roll the dice. Do you succeed? Do you fail? And then I ask the question, the Gary question, what do you want to do now? And I love that question. That is the greatest question in any RPG. What do you want to do now? And that's the thing. Not only is it good for RPG and for RPG games, but really when you're at a point in your life where it's a Thursday, you could be making money right now, but instead you're sitting here staring at your limp dick and you're wondering what the fuck are you doing with your life? You got to think kind of in a game term, how do I win this moment? What do I want to do now? What do I want to do now? And you'll figure it out. It might take you a couple Thursdays to get this straight in your head. Like, here's another way for me to make money. Here's another way for me to fucking get myself up and over this bit of adversity. Here's how I can get over this debt, this crippling medical debt that I've got. Here's how I can get over the fact that my car is, about ready to fall apart. Here's how I can do it. And all you've got to do is just literally throw yourself in a situation mentally where somebody's staring at you because you're accountable for every fucking action you make. And you ask yourself, what the fuck are you going to do now? And if you don't fucking have an answer for it, you need to keep sitting there. You don't need to go off and fuck the first slag that comes along. You need to sit there and figure out, no, really, what are you going to do now? What are you going to do? Because what you have, that's all you got, man. What's on your itinerary? That's the only thing that's going to matter during your effort.
What I'm thinking about now, once I'm starting to understand what you're trying to get people to do is to think about the future. Okay, like I'm in this battle, and after my second time telling you what I wanted to do, the next thing I realized, I should have. Okay, I said I'm going to channel. Okay, because I knew after the first round that people were getting walloped, right? So my second round, when I said I'm going to do the same thing, I should have said I'm going to channel to help my people. That's what I should have been doing, because I should have been focusing on the future of the battle, but I didn't. But now I'm thinking differently, because now I'm realizing it's not like the other game. It's separate. You know what I mean? So I have to prepare ahead of time, just like I would have to go and pray to get my mana back and things like that. It's the same thing, but it's during the battle, not, going to bed and praying before I go to sleep or after I eat dinner, or something like that. I don't know if that makes sense, what I was saying, but that's what I'm looking at now. That's the difference. Once I'm learning that the difference in the ways the two games are being played, even though it's the same GM. See what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So as someone like me that really doesn't understand all the technical stuff yet, I'm really wanting to learn better, to be better at it. It's just so much stuff. There's so many things that I got to try to learn that I don't really have to worry that much about. I click on a couple things in the other game and it takes the points on for me. It does, it does things for me. All I have to do is roll the dice and then input the information. It's like having a game calculator. Well, this I have to write it down and do it myself.
Get my abacus out.
So
I'm driving in Africa and my truck stalled. So the crank boy jumps out of the trunk. I don't have a monkey. I have a crank boy. He's an 8-year-old child. I pay him a corn dog a week and a few silvers. He takes the silvers back to mom and dad. He eats a corn dog, and then he cranks the engine, and off we go. Yeah, I get it. For those of you that are still here, thank you so much for being part of our show. For our friends that have been with us since the beginning, it's been fun to get to know you. It's been great to know you as people. Me and Janet are blessed to be able to do this show, and I feel like I've hit the lottery in so many aspects in becoming her friend. And for all of you that are here watching the journey of all of this, between her stuff going on and my stuff going on, and it's been a slog. There's been parts where like we have our moments, like everybody does, where like things happen and you just can't get in front of people right now because you got to have your release. You gotta go through this process. You gotta mourn. You gotta do your stuff, and then once that's over, then you can get in front of people again. You can have your celebrations, your mini celebration. Where like, God damn it, I wish all of you were here in the same room with me. I'd hug each and every one of you. But this show has been going on for about 3 years almost. And I've enjoyed being an amateur movie reviewer.
It doesn't seem possible, but it is. It's just really weird.
And I feel blessed because I'm not making a whole lot of money on YouTube. Thank you for those of you that do donate. James, I'm looking straight at you, bud. Hungar, you've been a great depository for James's money, and it's been wonderful to be part of this. Saturdays, I get to run in front of the camera and display the type of game I want to play, the type of game I want to run and write, and the players, I want them to be challenged. Damn it, I want players to be challenged. I feel like the more the time goes on, the less challenging the games are in a literary sense. They don't force the players to critically think. It makes me upset. But I want you guys to know that this next Sunday we'll be back. We'll be doing this. We're going to watch a classic 1971 movie called Dirty Harry, and Janet is going to be here with me. We're going to have just a badass time watching one of the greatest crime dramas of all. And I don't know if there's anything I could say otherwise that could eclipse what I just said there. But go ahead, Janet. I'll let you close this out.
Well, I just want to say thank you to the chat, because you guys also are the reason it's fun. Getting to read some of the comical things that you write to us, and just knowing you support us, it just makes it worth it. I look forward to it each week. I can't wait to see, especially a movie I've never seen before. Some of them I've like gagged on. They had some really bad, gross stuff in it.
Are you talking about the mason jar?
That's one of them for sure. But the thing is, I'm thankful that I've gotten to see. I've seen, 75 or more movies I've never seen, that I never would have seen if I had been doing this. So I still feel, I tell you that a lot, that I'm so thankful that you let me do this, because the first time you asked me, I felt so like, what? I feel so special, that somebody wants to do movie reviews with me, because, I just look at myself as just, just another person. I don't look at me as anything special or anything like that, but I love doing it. I love, dressing up, depending on the movie or whatever, but it's just great. I just enjoy it. I've met some wonderful people through Bruce on YouTube, and we knew a lot of the same people, because I was already, going to YouTube and going to chats and things like that. It was just that we weren't in the same little groups. But I just feel like I'm blessed. I just have enjoyed this so much, and it's saved my sanity on many occasions, because it's just given me something to focus on and to take me away from things that I can't have no control over in other parts of my life. So I just want to say thank you to everybody for supporting both of us on the show for sure. That's all I would say. But
Janet
thanks.
will be out. God bless you all. See you.